Welcome again, everyone, to the 16th episode of Season 3 of Vegas. I'm here with our intuitive clinical hypnotherapist, Tammie Roitman, our master astrologer, Kris, and my specialty is tarot. And the way the program works is that we have our guests call in or Zoom in to the program, and they ask a specific question or want to concentrate on a specific issue. And then the question is answered by one of the three of us. So our guest chooses whoever they would like to have answer the question first. Then after that person finishes, then they choose whoever answers the question second. And then by default, whoever is the third person will just automatically step up and answer the question. It's a very collaborative, very open interaction that we have with our guests. And every single one of our guests to us is a gift. And we really appreciate that whoever decides to come on our program with us is with us. We just love that. I also want to thank John Stiles, the founder of WWDBTV, for making this program possible here live from Las Vegas. So we record the program live. It's not edited. So everything you see on this program is a streaming effort that is totally unedited. So whatever happens in the program, so forgive us now if we occasionally use a naughty word or a cuss word or say something sort of colorful, if your ears aren't ready to hear it, but it's kind of what we do. We're very direct, but very direct in a very loving, supportive, and grateful way that you're with our program. So stay with us. We'll be right back with James.
The Showgirl Legacy Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to preserving the historic significance of the iconic showgirl as a performing artist. We achieve this through curriculum-based educational programs in partnership with the Las Vegas Academy of the Arts. The program includes a panel of entertainers and showgirls modeling authentic costumes for the visual arts students to paint. The students submit their artwork to the Showgirl Art Competition that becomes the annual Showgirl Art and Costume Exhibit. The foundation also represents guest speakers that give historical presentations about the Las Vegas stage show spectaculars and their personal experiences. The speaker brings authentic show costumes for photo ops and tailors their presentations for conferences, conventions, luncheons, museums, and other venues. Recently added to the Foundation's repertoire is the talk show The Showgirl Connection with your host, Luann. She interviews former and current showgirls, dancers, entertainers, and all the people behind the scenes that make the magic happen. The Showgirl Connection wouldn't be possible without the partnership and support of WWDBTV and owner John Stiles. Learn more about us at showgirllegacy.org and castandcrewreunion.com. For questions, email us at info@showgirllegacy.org.
Welcome back. Tammie makes jokes in the little breaks. We have James here with us today. Hi, James. Welcome to the program.
Hello. Thank you.
Nice to have you here. Thank you so much. So the way the program works is we're going to have you state a question or an issue. And then you're going to, after you've stated the question or the issue, you're going to choose either Tammie or Kris or myself to address that issue first. And then after we spend about 5, 6, 7 minutes with you, then you choose the next person to address the issue. And then by default, whoever is, quote, left over answers the question last. So tell us, what is your question or issue today?
Just for the record, I love leftovers.
Are you saying that in advance because you already know it's going to? I love you for that. Okay.
Okay. So question. So recently I've had an unexpected life shift, and I called upon my spirit guides to give me some sort of clarity and understanding. And I generally wait for some sort of sign or direction. And literally within 72 hours, I got a text, you're being invited to be on the 3. And I thought, okay, this is where I'm supposed to go. So I've wholeheartedly and excitedly have shown up and am ready to listen and absorb the guidance.
Okay, so the upshot of your question is, where do I go from here?
That's a great way to phrase it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, who would you like to have answer the question first?
Let's just go in alphabetical order. So, Kris, would you be
Great.
so kind?
Absolutely. James. Okay, so you're a Virgo sun, so you're right there on that cusp of Virgo and Leo. Or excuse me, you're actually a Leo, but you're right on the cusp of Virgo. So you kind of get the energy of both signs. And then your rising sign is Sagittarius. So if you were to read the characteristics of Sagittarius, they're going to resonate quite a bit with you. And then also when you read your horoscope, I always recommend going with your rising sign as well. So I'm going to jump actually right into your question. And I have to ask you well, first let me back up. I'm seeing some major shifts in career and work, and health. So, is the major change that you've had recently, is it in that area of your life by chance?
All of them.
Okay, great. All right. So here's where I'm going to jump in is over the last, let's see, maybe 2022, 2021, 2022 starting, there were some shifts in the area of, for you would be in your area of career and reputation. Usually this is like there's industry changes or there's organizational changes like acquisitions, mergers, things like that, that actually change what is familiar to us. And it usually happens and it's kind of like events that kind of make us uncomfortable or situations that kind of make us uncomfortable, and it forces us to kind of start making changes. The other side to that too is that while there's transformation going on in the career, the industry, or the career, kind of what you are, what you're known for, there's also changes in on the home life. So in our family, what actually in our who we live with, like our family dynamic changes. And then anything kind of involving like real estate too. So that started for you probably like in 2021, 2022, and it's gotten stronger and stronger, especially probably by 2023, maybe April 2023. There's probably starting some pretty big changes in those areas of your life. And the purpose of those the purpose of those events is to start bringing about change for you in those areas. And so essentially it's kind of like a course correction. And so if we don't really, if we're not aware, if we're not paying attention to the signs that the universe gives us that, hey, we're shifting to a change, then usually that's when we kind of get blindsided or things happen that we weren't really expecting, or big life events that are kind of, I don't want to say shocking, but they can be shocking. So that's kind of been going through your house of career, and then also your like home and family life for the last couple to few years. And then it made a shift now recently to kind of an element of surprise as it relates to your day-to-day work and health. So the whole purpose of those, though, is to kind of get you into realignment. But if we're not consciously making the changes, then it kind of comes. I want to say it's kind of forced on us in a way. And so I feel like that's what you're experiencing. But ultimately it's for your better good. And I think you maybe started seeing hints of this maybe sometime last year, maybe even spring. So maybe kind of the spring or early part of 2024. And so you kind of got a little glimpse of it, and we're getting back into that here recently. And so with this, you're going to start seeing some more kind of coincidences and elements of surprises as it relates to the type of work that you do, and then also like kind of health. Is there something specific that you want me to address, though, as far as like the shift?
You said realignment. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Yeah. So as we kind of go through life and we evolve, sometimes we can get distracted, and it's not necessarily, I don't want to say we're off course, but it may be sort of kind of like a detour. And so there's maybe, let's say there's something that we've wanted to do, but we've made up reasons for ourselves of why we can't do it. Maybe it's a certain career path, or it's a career change, or a passion project or something. So these events come along to make us uncomfortable so that we start evaluating certain areas of our life that they touch. And that way we start making those changes, because if we're comfortable and we're content, we're never going to change anything. And so it's almost kind of like it makes us uncomfortable, or it makes us experience events so that we start evaluating that area of our life and bring it up for examination to make changes to it. So it's kind of like I kind of want to call it more of a detour, and it's kind of like getting off that detour and back to where we're supposed to be going.
Well, I'm being told to share something with you, which is I was born into a world of survival rather than a world of focus and perfect guidance into exactly what I wanted to be and do, and a direction in life. So where I am today is going, okay, so I've never actually had or looked at or admitted to a desire on who I want to be while I'm here. I've rather survived, and I'm good at surviving. So I've always been good at the roles that I've taken and earned a good living at those roles. But perhaps the way this last role was just pulled out from under me, it's time to start looking in a different direction.
Just what's more authentic, what you want. Absolutely. You're also coming into this period in your life, and this is a very highly transformative and karmic period, and it has to do with money, how you earn your money, and resources that are available to you, because you have this placement that it can kind of feel like resources are limited, especially like earlier on in life. And so it's trying to find ways to make money, and not only as it relates to money, but also self-worth. So sometimes we undervalue our skill sets, or kind of what our contributions are. And so that would be manifest in, like, let's say we accept a job that's significantly less than what we should be making our skill set. So you're coming into a period of life where that's up for reexamination too, releasing that karmic, because that's what it is. It's really that the limited resources, are feeling like the money's tight, or maybe we don't feel like we have the freedom that we want to have as far as finances. You're coming into a period where you're able to transform that and release that karmic. But this feels like it was more kind of early on, because you have the placement of the early riser, and we've had a ton of early risers this season so far. So the early riser is a person who assumes responsibility at a very early age. And so they usually start working at a very early age, emotionally very mature. But with that too, it's usually resources, as in maybe they grew up in a very frugal environment, or maybe resources were kind of limited growing up. And so it kind of produced this mentality of scarcity, I guess I would call that. And so you're coming into this period where now you can really start investing in any kind of investments and resources, and within yourself too, like more self-value, and releasing any of those self-imposed karmic thoughts of scarcity, or not having enough, or limited resources.
All right, James. Who would
Yes,
you like
thank
to go?
you, Kris. I appreciate that.
Who would you like to have address your issue next?
Well, I think we move on to Mona.
Okay. All right. So one of the things I want to tell you is that while Kris was talking, of course, I'm glancing at your chart. I am not an astrologer. I just look at the shape of what's coming up on your chart, and I get this first impression about it. So I want to address that. The top of your chart immediately presented to me like an umbrella. And I want you to think about that you're walking around right now with a totally clear umbrella. but I don't want you to let go of the umbrella. I want all the rain that's falling or any leaves that are blowing around or any dust that's flowing around. I want it to protect where you're housing your spirit in yourself. All right. But I get this big, like golf sized, umbrella over you, but I get it that it's clear and that all the things that are falling on you right now, I want you to imagine that they're sliding off the umbrella. All right. Because what I'm actually getting is that everything that's coming towards you right now, while you can't see through the umbrella that clearly yet, you're going to be able to see through the umbrella and see it clearly. But I really do think that the poop that's hit the fan for you, and that this drastic change that happened all of a sudden, I don't know that you would have changed because of your loyalty to where you were had this not happened. So you've got to realize that the umbrella is all of your own spiritual guides protecting you right now, as well as all the people around you that love and adore you for exactly who you are, that don't want anything from you. They just love and adore you for who you are. So now I'm going to pull my cards out and I'm going to lay out your cards. And I want you to concentrate with me on the most important thing you need to know about where to go from here. All right. Now, it's very interesting because there is one card, and I don't know if you're going to get this card, but there's a card in my deck that's called the Master. And it is a card where you're allowing the flow of spirit to work through you, and that this feeling of leaning into what.
Oh, wow.
So the first card in this first 5 cards is a card called the Master. And so you saw me draw the cards, and I'm telling you, this card would be a card that I would actually act as your sort of leaning shield. And again, I keep getting this image of this clear umbrella. So the card called the Master is a prayer that I would like you to say to yourself, which is something very simple. Dear Spirit, thank you for the blessings in my life. I pray to be guided to peace, purpose, and prosperity. Thank you for your loving help. Amen. And that when you find your mind going down the rabbit hole, you actually say that prayer to yourself. But the fact that I'm tuning into you so quickly, and the fact that I even called out a card before I even turned it over, and it's the most powerful card in my entire deck. It's the card that everybody sees you as, which is the fella that can work miracles. You're the dude that makes magic happen. I'm actually not that worried about money for you. I think you're going to be okay. You'd like to have a little bit more of it, just kind of as a safety thing, a little bit more feathers in your nest, but I'm not worried about the money. There is something coming around to you in July. Now, what's really interesting is that your program, because we record these in advance, your program is going to air after the really cool event's going to happen for you. But in the month of July, what's going to happen is you're going to realize that the disruption that happened for you is you dodging a bullet. So there's something going on with the organization that might be verging on unethical or immoral or at the very least cheesy. It's just it's very it's the slimy political side of the industry in a way. And so there's a person that you worked with that part of the reason why you were there is that you propped this person up. You made this person feel good because what you brought out in that person was the best of him. And that because you recognized and spoke to the best of him, that's part of the reason that I'm going to say it this way. He was addicted to you. And so when you questioned something with him, or when you brought up basically the elephant in the room that was about to take a poop, suddenly you upset him in some way. But the thing had to be said. So the card that's called the Master literally means that the flow of spirit is working through you right now, and it will lead you to a better thing. So instead of thinking that you could have done something better or different, actually, I want you to know that it was all divine timing. It was exactly what you needed to do at the time, because if this hadn't happened, you wouldn't make a shift in a brand new direction. So there you go.
Mona, everything you said is 100% spot on. From the male figure to his standing, to his position, and to his authority, and to his power and to my demise.
Yeah, it was a choice between you and him, and he threw you under the bus.
Oh my God. Do you know, I have goosebumps like you can't even imagine. And thank you. He told me in October of 2024, I'm going to throw you under the bus. And I didn't understand what that meant at the time until April of this year, where he got me dismissed from my role in that I had for a little over 5 years, and completely threw me for a loop.
Well, because, let's just say the Titanic was sinking and he basically put a hole in your lifeboat. So his lifeboat would actually float.
Yes, he wanted to detract from what was actually happening.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
wow. So I got goosebumps because when I mentioned the card called the Master, and then the card I turn over is that card called the Master, I actually love that when that happens, when I'm tuning in on someone, and what I really get with you is that you really have dodged a bullet here, because the people that know you know that anything that this guy could possibly say, they won't believe him. They won't, and he's going to cause his own train wreck, and you don't have to be on the train when it crashes, which is what's so beautiful about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, my friend, I'm going to turn this over to Tammie now.
Okay.
You're
Well,
going to
I
Tammie.
just have to say, Mona, I'm going to go get a T-shirt made that says, "I'm going to throw you under the bus," because you must know that my guides are very pleased with those words.
Oh, thank you, James. Thank you. You are a more aware spirit than the average person, I have to say. So thank you so much. So you got to talk to Tammie. I can't wait for you to talk to
Okay.
Tammie. Okay.
Tammie.
Hi, James.
Hi,
I'm
Tammie.
so grateful and honored and appreciative to be in service for you today. One of the things that you are missing is that you've come to wake yourself up even more in this particular incarnation. And you have set the framework for people to come into your life to actually push your anger so that you could experience what anger was, to realize what peace was. And you are missing the people that are coming into your life that have agreed to come in to help you. And instead of seeing how they're helping you, you're getting angry and resentments towards them. And if you were to step back away from your emotions, you're going to start to see clearer and clearer that these were agreements that you chose to have these types of experiences. And even some of the experiences are a choice to see what you're not, to remember exactly what you are. So for you, it's going to be important to stop getting held up on what somebody's doing to you and start seeing how they're doing it for you, because you're the one that is agreed to all of this. It's not like somebody is doing something that you did not agree to. And this is where you are fighting with yourself in terms of holding yourself back by not seeing that you've come to wake yourself up to a higher level than most in this incarnation. And you are forgetting that you have made those agreements to be able to do that. And so misplacing emotions onto somebody else is not serving you in any way, except for keeping you in the illusion in which you have to wake yourself up from. And this has been going on since you were young. And now everything is going to flip in your life until you can clearly see that this is what your experience was, that you chose it to be. And as soon as you do that, your life is going to change in ways you couldn't even dream.
So there.
I feel like I've just been reprimanded.
Okay. So one of the things that I actually really love about both of these women that collaborate with me on this program is that we tune in on you exclusively, and it's almost as if everybody else in the room fades as we concentrate on you, and it's kind of a profound thing that we've really seen with the three of us is that we dismiss anything that would be a distraction when we concentrate on the person that's a guest on our program. So James, tell us your feedback.
Hold on. 'Cause
Oh, wait.
I wasn't exactly done.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
You feel like you're reprimanded, but that's your own interpretation and perception. Your guides have been trying to help you see this, and you have been very, very resistant to it.
True.
It's no mystery why you would think it that way, but that's the way you need to hear it to pay attention.
So how does one flip the perception, Tammie, from being not a victim, but coming from an opposite way of thinking? I know the process of coming in here with agreements. I know the process of life is my own journey and my own destination. I know it's about acceptance, but I am stuck in that place of I want to break his legs. I want to see harm done to him. But then I think I hear my father in my head saying, "Bygones, son, bygones."
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so how do you get there? I know it's a switch.
That's because this particular person, he needed to bring that situation so that you could experience anger on a different level than you have experienced it. And when someone is saying something to you, you're the only one that gets to interpret and perceive it the way that it is. And it's the reflection back. So then you stop and you say, okay, what's going on here? What is this person really trying to help me see in this moment? And what is the purpose I need it with a thought, like a strong voice tone that I'm interpreting it, or a mild voice tone? And then it's really for you, it is so critical for you to wake up just a little bit more and realize that this is what you need. This is what you want. It doesn't feel like that, but it is. This person is very loving by agreeing to come in and do that for you, because our nature, our essence, our truth is not like that at all. So we have to move away from our truth to be anything but loving and kind.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
You know, it's funny because when you were talking, I got the vibration of the fastest way to motivate James is to piss him off. That telling you that you can't do something, you're going to say, well, screw you. I'm going to show you I can. But I want to latch on to what Tammie said for a second. And I want to tell you that you evolving to a level of love doesn't mean that you necessarily have to love him or what he did outwardly. You can basically send him blessings and prayers. But what I would do is I would love everybody around him, and that it would ultimately make him uncomfortable, because you're loving everybody around him and not sending him that direct, beautiful attention that he basically was addicted to with you. Do you see what I mean? It's like he doesn't get to have you in his life anymore. That's his loss. And so he loses you. He loses the essence of you. And that's a bigger loss to him than what has happened to you, in my opinion.
It'd be better for you to say, I'm so grateful and thankful and appreciative that he came into my life to help me experience something that I don't want to be. And because of this experience, I'm not going to be that.
Kris?
You have two placements in your chart. One talks about having a natural inclination towards music, or a musical inclination, like picking up an instrument or anything that has to do with kind of the performing arts. So it could be instruments, it could be writing music, it could be singing, dancing. And then you have this other placement too that says that you might just be a really good chef, like a really good cook. So are either of those two a passion for you or something that you have an interest in?
I'm amazing in the kitchen.
Yeah, baby.
We'll be over for dinner.
Yeah, when's dinner? What's your specialty dish? Because,
Oh my gosh. Anything, everything. Last night I made the most delicious shrimp burgers.
Yum.
And
Burger.
I just flavor them with onion and lemon rind, and and I make an aioli. They were delicious.
Have you ever thought of doing anything with that, like for a career, like a food truck or some kind of cooking
Like a
show?
cooking
Or
show. Well, that's
I
what
was
just
thinking
came
Oh
to
yeah,
kind
me.
of
just a
cooking
cooking show. You could produce it yourself, or you
Yeah,
could.
I've had people tell me you should just be what did they say, Grandpa Chef?
Or James in the kitchen.
Or
James in the kitchen.
or thinking outside of the box.
like a
Right.
broadcast with for cooking.
And
Yeah.
and by the way, if you need a studio, we got one here in Vegas, and then it would be an excuse for you to be on the program in person, which would be
And come cook for us.
Yeah, you could come cook for us. Let you do
I
that.
can make some pretty good milkshakes.
I'll make sure my spare room is like open. For you.
Do you have any feedback for us, James, before we let you go?
Only that all of you hit on very specific words and language that have been part of my path in the last 6 to 8 months. And that gives me great comfort in knowing that we connected here today. And I'm thankful for the insight and guidance.
Well, we're grateful that you decided to be a guest on our program, and I hope we hear more from you. I really do think that there's something that's going to happen in the month of July, which is going to be after this particular program broadcasts on WWDBTV. So we really, really hope that we hear from you around the first week of August about your own personal shift, because this personal shift is going to be the path of your own joy, and I'm going to even use the word enlightenment, even though it's a very big word to say. But I do think that out of the pain, they say that there's a pine tree that the only way it propagates is if there's a fire, because that's where the seeds explode, and then they go on to the land and they grow another pine tree. Well, I actually think that you have exploded out of your shell right now. It was very uncomfortable to actually experience it. But now you can plant yourself someplace else that might be a little bit more beneficial for you.
Blessed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to know you all.
All right, you guys.
Grateful.
How do you be on 3? You go to www.THREE.Vegas, and you go to the How to Be on 3 page, and you fill out the form, and we'll contact you about the time of our next taping, about a week before we do the taping. I want to thank John at WWDBTV for allowing us to have the platform of doing this program here. He's amazing. And by the way, if you ever need a studio for anything, if you want to come to Vegas and sing or do some sort of an audition, maybe your version of Hamlet, and have a video recording of it so you can put it on your, send it out to people so that they'll, take you as an audition. You can do that here at WWDBTV. I want to thank Tammie, our intuitive clinical hypnotherapist, Kris, our master astrologer, and all of you for finding the program and tuning in. Please tell all your friends. We look forward to our next visit together. And thank you again for tuning in.
The cast members of 3 are not professional attorneys, CPAs, psychologists, marriage counselors, physicians, or financial advisors. You are provided with opinions that are unique to each of the intuitive performers. 3 is presented to you for your entertainment.